Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with SUYU. And SUYU appears to be a brand new Switch emulator. They say it's an open source Switch compatible emulator with almost full coverage of the game library. It says right here on their website, we care about preservation, so we're setting out to continue the beloved Yuzu emulator as a non-profit drive for hardware preservation and research. Now, after checking out their GitLab and also after hearing a few things about this project, I would argue it is very questionable and I don't recommend it. And speaking about Switch emulation, next up we're talking about Sudachi. And Sudachi appears to be a Nintendo Switch emulator for iPad and iPhone based on Yuzu. The latest version of this is version 0.0.176, which was released last week. Since Yuzu was shut down, I don't know if this project is going to continue. If you are curious about it though, there are some YouTube videos showing the emulator in action, and I'll drop a link to one in the description below. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about Intellivision emulation on the Nintendo DS and DSi with Intellivision DS. So version 5.0a just dropped and it's a pretty nice update. In addition to a brand new splash screen jingle, they boosted the audio output by almost 25%. You no longer have to max out your DS volume. Next up, we're talking about a very interesting unofficial port. Apparently someone is porting Metroid from the NES over to the Game Boy. What I find interesting about this is that it's a ROM hack of Metroid 2, and they use that to make Metroid 1. The developer working on this one says it's coming soon in 2024. I'll drop a link to this YouTube video in the description below in the event that you wanted to check it out. And speaking about checking stuff out, check out this news. Dottie Flowers appears to have been dumped. Now, we talked about this game a while back, and the homebrew developer spent about $2,200 to manufacture about 100 cartridges and give them all away for free except for one. Since then, the developer has released the ROM 100% free over on their itch.io page. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Dottie Flowers isn't a very long game. It's between 30 and 60 minutes. It's inspired by Turrican 2 and it's for the SNES. I do recommend checking it out. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with Ryujinx, and Ryujinx has a few brand new updates. So version 1.1.1218 adds in a nice quality of life feature. It adds in the title of the game to the screenshot. Version 1219 reduces the minimum window size to 800 by 500 if you wanted a real small window. And version 1221 fixes a security vulnerability present in previous versions of ImageSharp. And it also fixes a missing fonts crash on games like Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Ryujinx is 100% free, open source, and if you want to learn more about it, I'll drop a link in the description below. Next up, we're quickly talking about Microsoft and Microsoft being hacked. So Microsoft was apparently hacked back on January 12th, and they provided an update on January 19th. And they provided another update today. So it appears the hacking group used password sprays to gain access to corporate accounts and then used those corporate accounts to access some of the company's source code repositories and internal systems. They say, though, to date they have found no evidence that Microsoft-hosted customer-facing systems have been compromised. However, they say it's apparent that Midnight Blizzard, the hacking group, is attempting to use secrets of different types it has found. Some of these secrets were shared between customers and Microsoft in emails, and they have been and are reaching out to those customers to assist them in taking mitigation measures. And based on what I read, the hack is still ongoing, so there may be another update. Next up, we're talking about Linux distribution Batocera, and Batocera has just released version 39. They're calling this release Painted Lady, and they bumped the Linux kernel from 6.4 to 6.7.2 and Mesa up to 23.3.4. Additionally, they updated a whole bunch of emulators and cores. Racing fans are going to like this one. They've added in a whole bunch of support for a whole bunch of steering wheels, including the Logitech G27, G29, G920, and even more. They've added in initial support for the AYN Loki Mini Pro, the Asus ROG Ally, the Raspberry Pi 5, the Steam Deck OLED, the Anbernic RG353V, and a whole bunch of other RK3568 boards. Next up, we're quickly talking about FlatOut Ultimate Carnage Collector's Edition on Steam. This game is now Steam Deck verified. It's currently on sale for a pretty steep discount, and they just removed the DRM on it. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to it in the description below, and I also might recommend checking out the FlatOut Anthology Pack. It's also on for a very steep discount. I mean, it includes FlatOut 2, FlatOut Ultimate Carnage, FlatOut 3, and FlatOut 4. Pretty much all the FlatOut you need for a long while. Next up, we're talking about PlayStation, and PlayStation had a bit of a whoopsie today. They posted the Stellar Blade demo early. There were a number of people who got their hands on it. Now, Sony has since pulled down the demo, and for anyone who downloaded the demo who was still connected to the internet, Sony has blocked access to it. I don't know when they're going to plan on releasing the demo officially, but the game is coming out in April of this year. And not surprisingly, over on YouTube here, there's already a whole bunch of Stellar Blade demo videos. And speaking about videos, next up we're talking about No Rest for the Wicked. This is a brand new RPG in development by Moon Studios. Moon Studios is famous for Ori and the Blind Forest. This game is set to release on April 18th, and a 90-minute gameplay video on YouTube just dropped. I'm not gonna lie here, I am very interested in this game, and I may actually pick it up. Let me know your thoughts about No Rest for the Wicked in the comments below. Is this game of interest to you? And speaking about Steam, next up we're quickly talking about Mortal Kombat 1, and this game is 100% free to play on Steam right now. I do recommend checking it out. It's free for a couple of days here and worth a playthrough, at least in single player mode. And continuing to talk about free stuff on Steam, next up we're talking about Dragon's Dogma 2. Unfortunately, this game is not free, but the character creator is. If you are planning on picking up this game on March 21st and wanted to get a head start, you can go on ahead and create your character. When the game releases, you can import your saved character. And speaking about March 21st, next up we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone Mobile, which is launching on March 21st. And Backbone has partnered with this game to release an exclusive controller. The Backbone controller is telescopic and it connects with your phone via USB-C. As far as I know, these controllers are being sold exclusively over at Best Buy starting March 13th for a whopping $100. And last up here, we're talking about Warner Brothers, and apparently they're pulling all of their Adult Swim games within 60 days from Steam. Included in this list is stuff like Duck Game, Samurai Jack, Small Radio's Big Televisions, and even more. Interestingly, Fireface, the developer of Small Radio's Big Televisions, has posted this on their website. As of March 5th, 2024, Warner Brothers Discovery has retired Small Radio's Big Televisions from both Steam and PlayStation 4 stores. The PC game is now free to download. I'll drop a link to this website in the description below. I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit confused about this because right now in Canada, Small Radio's Big Televisions is up for sale and it's after March 5th. Now aside from that, there is a bit of a controversy. So the publisher is Adult Swim Games, but the developer is not. For example, this game here, Sound Dodger Plus, the developer is Studio Bean, and they do not agree with this delisting. So the developer shares on Twitter, as other devs have shared, I too am affected by Warner Brothers Discovery, which aided Adult Swim, removing all of their games from Steam and consoles. Within the next 60 days, Sound Dodger Plus will be removed from Steam. They are refusing to transfer ownership to them. The developer then says, I sent them the Steam transfer link, explained that it takes 3 clicks, and they still refused, claiming it would only be fair to transfer no one's games since they can't do them all. I'd be willing to bet that clicking 3 times would be a whole lot faster than sending a whole email saying no. I've got no idea why Warner Brothers wouldn't just transfer ownership to the actual developers as opposed to just kind of burning everything down in the process. It is baffling to me. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.